This reminded me of the Spanish mole. Everybody has their own recipe, and mole is like it's your mole, right? It's like
Well, every culture has their own thing that
every
like,
family, even in a
my own special borsch.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, probably.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Hello and welcome to episode 81 of What the Flick podcast. Okay, I'm Susan Ayers.
I'm Patty Smith.
I'm Lon Shima.
George Sanchez.
Okay, and so our movies this week are One of These Days, Leave the World Behind, Nonas, and The Witch, Part 1, The Subversion. This week is me. So, okay, my movie was Nonas. Director Stephen, oh boy, this is a good one, Chbosky. Writer Liz Macy. It's based on a true story of Joe Scaravella, and that's Vince Vaughn in this, who in 2007 started a restaurant in Staten Island called Enotica Maria. That's his mother's name. Nuna is a word that Italian people call their grandmother. So this is a story about, okay, his mother, let me just, Joe is a chef. His mother has just died. And he decides a long way through the movie that the best way to celebrate his mother is to get all the grandmothers to cook in this Italian restaurant. Let's see. They all bring the recipes, the old recipes, some from Sicily, some from Bologna, some from, from all over.
Well, from the heritage, the family that they grew up with.
Yeah, the different areas of Italy.
And they brought all their personalities with them.
Yeah, yes. But these grandmothers are amazing. So he finds Roberta, that's Lorraine Bracco. Teresa, that's Talia Shire. He finds Antonella, that's Brenda Vaccaro. Gio, which is Susan Sarandon. These are the grandmothers, and they are going to be the chefs of the restaurant. Let's see. Who impressed me the most in this film was Vince Vaughn, because he plays it totally. He isn't what I would call normal Vince Vaughn. Even though he's the main guy in it, he plays it. He lets the other people shine around him, right, which to me is a sign of a great actor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They make everybody else better. And so he's got a top-notch crew here. He also has a love interest in the film, but it's really kind of understated. So the whole thing about the film is it's kind of you would think, oh, this is like total Hollywood, but actually it's a real story. There's the thing. It's actually a true story. It exists still today, and you could go there. The grandmothers make the movie, just like kind of the first movie, You're the Neighborhood makes the movie. The grandmothers are the heart and soul of the Italian family, and they are the heart and soul of this restaurant. I really like this movie. It really, and the fact that it's true, I was like, oh, that's just kind of so, no, it's actually a true story, and that makes it even more wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, Patty.
I love this movie, and because it's a true story, but I didn't know it was a true story until later. In fact, a friend of mine sent me pictures of this restaurant and went and told me about the menu, and the grandmothers all cook. But what I like about this movie, it's he's bringing a bunch of people together, and if you've ever worked in a restaurant or just worked, it's all these personalities you've got to. It's very exhausting to get through, so they all work together. He's really having a financial problem, but every problem that comes, he gets it. and you see how he just climbs out of the hole.
His depression, kind of.
Yeah, it's like, oh my God, let this guy get a break. And how is it that he gets that break? What's that guy?
Oh, it's a food critic.
Food critic. That's it. He takes food to the food critic because he's closed and that's it. And it's his critic could make. So he takes him all his food. And then one day you see the critic come in.
Well, the critic doesn't come in.
No.
He sends somebody in, though.
Oh, he said, that's
what
right,
happens,
that's right.
Because he says, no, I only do Michelin star restaurants.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So later for
And
you.
here's this Italian restaurant from Staten Island. Yeah.
Right. No, so it's worth seeing. It's really a good movie. Kind of a tearjerker.
Well, it's funny. I actually watched the movie too beforehand because I thought, oh, this is one of the movies I might pick, but I didn't grab me as much as you guys did. But I thought, again, the same thing like I've been saying about the previous movies in this series is that it was just entertaining. For me, though, the reason it was entertaining is because of me seeing people like Brenda Vaccaro and Talia Shire. And seeing Lorraine Bracco. Now, Lorraine Bracco is the one who's playing a little older than I think she actually is.
Yeah.
But it's just fun to see these actresses work. And Susan Sarandon, I think, it's the funny thing. She doesn't come off as Italian, in my opinion, but she was Vince Vaughn's mother's hairdresser. That they said, but she was my friend. She came to me for like 26 years.
Right.
And apparently, and like that's like the little character stuff I like when Vince Vaughn said, you know, she obviously died of cancer, I believe, and she says, "Oh, you made that wonderful wig for her." So Susan Sarandon's character is always about, oh, it's always important to look good,
Right.
and she's the one that make jokes at her expense because she does come off as being senior but very sexy and everything.
God, she's sexy. in this.
Exactly. Talia Shire plays a ex-nun, you know, very quiet. She sort of almost plays like the diplomat, you know, because it really is Lorraine Bracco and Brenda Vaccaro who are going after each other because of one being from
Expressing
Bologna.
themselves.
Exactly.
Well, one's Sicilian and one's like from northern Italy.
Was it Paloma or
No, she's from Bologna.
Bologna?
Yeah.
Bologna.
Yeah.
Bologna, yes.
So, and like literally they're spitting on the ground. Oh, spit on Sicily. Oh, spit on Bologna, you know, kind of thing. And I think that's the part that I like because, first of all, I like any movie dealing with food.
Me too.
But for some reason, I appreciate it, especially if they're Italians.
Yeah.
You know, like The Big Night. You know,
The
was a
first
movie
thing I
of-
thought is this is kind of reminding me of Water for Chocolate. Not that
Yes.
it does,
No,
but
no,
it's
no.
another movie that has food and the family as the
the heart of it.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's why I think this does sort of work is because this Vince Vaughn's character Joe, he literally it's a tribute to his mother.
Right.
But he wants that family kind of experience because they do. It opens up with him as a kid watching his mother and I'm assuming his grandmother make all the food.
Remember, he makes the gravy.
No, he doesn't.
He wants to.
That's the thing. That's the one theme throughout the only.
Oh, it's me who made the gravy.
The theme that goes throughout the entire movie is that
Right.
oh, I can't make that gravy
Gravy
as
like
good as my
Mom,
mom's,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And he even asks like the Lorraine Bracco's character because she's like an old family friend. He calls her auntie even, you know, about what do you use, sugar? And then I think somebody mentioned, well, there's all types of sugar to use.
Right.
Yeah.
So he says, oh, I tried. So that's really important, obviously, to him, to get that experience as a kid that he had, and he's taking the money he's inheriting from his mother to
Right.
open this restaurant, because he works like at the transit system or something. I couldn't. He had
Right.
to doing with buses or like
Right.
repairing buses or something like that. So that sort of to me was that, like you said, I think it is touching the fact that he's going to do that, and you know, I will give that to. His best friends, you know, you have Andrea Matteo and there's
Yes.
Joseph Manganiello.
Manganiello?
Great in it.
Manganiello.
Yeah, he was great in it.
They were really good because that to me is the Italian side that really comes out
Yeah.
right there. Oh, your buddies, you're going to do anything for your buddy. And they even, because he's, his best friend, Bruno, is sort of like a contractor. So he
Right.
can help him design the rest and do this. His wife basically says, oh, I can help you design it. You know?
Right.
So she but they just, Italians really seem to have that family atmosphere. So you just sort of look after one another and you do your best for your friends and family type of thing. To which the 4 women who are cooking also do the same thing.
Right.
At one point, he approaches the Gia character. Susan Sarandon's character, saying it's like, oh, I want you to make the desserts. Mom always loved your desserts, and that's the one thing she brought to the memorial, right? He says on this, and it's sort of funny. He says, oh no, I'm a hairdresser. I don't need this kind of thing. So, but he's saying, but no, it's something you like doing. But she says, but have a job. She has her own business, and everything. But she gets sucked in, I think, because of that whole thing about his mother and cooking and everything. And then she does a great favor to that's, I think, a wonderful sequence where she says, okay, before the restaurant's open, you're all coming with me, and of course gives them all a makeover kind of thing.
Yeah, that's sweet.
And that's, there's such sweetness in
While
the
they're
movie
drinking
because of that. Yes. Which I thought was funny, especially Talia Shire's character, who hasn't obviously drunk a lot to drink lately. And that comes up later as a joke.
Yeah.
But, that's the thing that I liked about the movie. It's like, not growing up in an Italian family, I said, but every ethnicity has that sort of...
Yeah.
Food plays an important thing. Family gatherings plays an important thing. I've seen this in Mexican households. For me, Japanese, Chinese households.
Greek.
Oh, never been to a Greek household. I don't know, but see, exactly.
Did you say Greek?
Yeah.
Well, she did, yeah.
Oh, Greek's great.
Yeah.
That's what I mean, exactly. That everyone can identify this just culturally, just saying, yeah, this is how every family is, right? It's sort of like when they did that movie about the Thanksgivings, and you see all the Chinese, the Latinos,
right?
The Jewish people. Everyone has almost the same Thanksgiving. It's always the same because it's all about family and getting together. But the food is like one of the major things. And like I said, I love any movie dealing with food.
Yeah, me too.
But I do agree with you that Vince Vaughn is really the one who's the key. He really does, because you're right. He usually, to me, is a little too much in a movie. Like when he has to convince certain people to be part of it. He's like a salesman and just boom, boom. But this one, he's like, no, he was sort of really...
He kept himself... restrained
as far as his performance. So there's something very touching about it. So, I just thought it was a fun movie. Like I said, I wasn't bored. I thought, oh, okay, I think this is almost like a cliched movie we've seen before. But as the movie goes on, it's like, oh no, there's still some, special moments in this that are good. Though I do like the fact that he did have this romance, and unfortunately had to do with the girl that he stood up on prom night.
Yeah.
But luckily it wasn't a big thing.
No, it wasn't a big thing, and that's why it was great.
Yeah.
The grandmothers were really the main thing, and the restaurant, and everything else. That's what I thought was so great about it. And he didn't, Vince Vaughn, who I must confess, I love Vince Vaughn. I like him when he's in, huge comedies, but I really respected him as an actor in this, that he reined himself in and kept himself kind of down and and was a vehicle for them.
Remember, this is a real guy, so he has to follow his character.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And I think that it's also one of those cultures where the women are very, even though the men are macho, the women are very dominant.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, it's very
Italian?
funny.
Absolutely.
To me, it's the women are dominant, but in the kitchen. That's like their bastion where they are the true empress of the household.
In the family. In the family. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We all have our domains.
And not in a sexist way I'm saying that. It's just because, again, the thing you see, how this food is made with real love. And that they talk about their sauces and said, oh, no, you can't do that. Every family has their own way of making or gravy, as they refer to it.
This reminded me of the Spanish mole. Everybody has their own recipe, and mole is like, it's your mole, right? Yeah. It's like...
Well, every culture has their own thing that
every family, even in a...
My own special borsch.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, probably.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, is that good? Are we good?
Yeah.
Do you have more to say?
Yeah, I really love this movie too. It's one of those that right from the get-go, you're like, my Nonna's gonna make that special. When they get the kid and the elder with the recipe and everything. So it reminded me of, like I said, like what of chocolate
Yeah.
and of tortilla soup. You ever seen that movie?
Oh,
Tortilla
yes.
soup? The kind of because movies that when they do the cooking scene, they really get into the food. Like you see, oh, you're almost watching you think you're watching a cooking show. Like, oh, take notes to make that recipe. So really, the close-ups on the food and everything. So it really gets into it. Shows you the heart of the food, how it's part of the culture. So I like that. I thought this Vaughn might have, but he didn't. I thought he might have written it,
He might have what?
Been involved in the writing of it, but he wasn't.
No.
Because I mean, some of those lines are very Vince Vaughn too. So it's really, it was good writing, good lines. He had really good lines, very clever. What else was I gonna say about that? Am I in the right movie here? Oh, that's Julia Roberts, different movie. I liked, it was great for me to see Talia Shire too, because I haven't seen her since Adrian. So I was like, what happened to her? Oh, there she is. So it was nice to see certain characters. And it's just classic, talking about families and everything. And also like him with his friend, where they kind of have a slight fallout, because you gotta have tension in the movie. And there's a moment where they have the fallout, but then they're like the guy's wife brings them together. Hey, you gotta better get together. And it's like, well, you, you, okay, we're friends again. So it's classic too. But yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and one thing about when you said tortilla soup, that's a remake of a Chinese film called Eat, Drink, Man, Woman. And that's why I say
Oh,
culturally.
sure. I know that. I saw
Yeah,
that movie.
that's what I mean. It doesn't matter. It's every culture has that when it comes to food and family,
Yeah.
I think.
And it always works. It always works.
Oh, there was also, I was gonna say, there's one scene where that we had he has a lot of people, bring friends and family, everything to come and eat, and everybody's eating. And if you notice, they as the table is panning through as the camera is panning through the table, there's the actual guy that is based on sitting there. Because when I saw the credits at the end, I go, hey, he was sitting with those guys too.
No, exactly. He's pouring wine because I saw that he sort of made an uncredited cameo, and I thought, okay, let me go look, and then sure enough, you see the guy because they do show at the end the actual
People.
Yeah,
it's like that movie with the king. What's the king? Where she talks to the king.
Oh, not looking for Richard, as something like that. I can't remember now.
Remember
Give me more.
the girl from
The one with Sylvia Hawkins in it. Remember, where they're looking for the remains of Richard III.
Oh,
That
sure.
One. Yeah.
I think that's what it's called. Isn't it called Looking for Richard III or?
Looking for Richard, I think.
Well, that movie. There's a scene in that movie when they finally when they find the remains and they're doing a burial, and as they're walking carrying the coffin. They have a scene with a lady who actually.
Oh, right. The actual. Yeah,
so
she was in it, right.
So it reminded me of that. I was like, they did the same thing in this movie where they have the actual person.
They do that in a lot of movies.
Yes, because
that was a great movie. That was a great movie.
So,
Okay, so are you still looking there?
No. Go ahead.
Okay, so I think that. Oh, we have to. Yeah.
I give it an 8.
I give this a 5.
I give it an 8 too.
I give it a 9.
Oh wow.
Okay, so that ends this week's What the Flicks. And so remember, we now have a Patreon, which we would really appreciate. And we have Buy Me a Coffee. You can like us, you can subscribe. And thank you so much.
Bye.
See you next week.